Oh, I promised I'd get in the same room with you. It didn't happen. You had to work. You had to work, and I had to work, and now I'm sitting out on the patio. Vacation ruined because it's raining out. It's raining kind of good here. You're at least indoors. I wanted to be out by the pool, and I'm not. I'm close. I'm as close as I can get. But actually, we did link up.
Yeah,
we're not going to sit. We're not going to sit in the same room for this, but we did link up for the better part of 6 hours. Learned your strategy at roulette. Met some cool dudes. Met some nice guys from the Rich Room, and here we are back doing it again. Markets do matter, and WynnBET senior trader Motoi Pearson is here to give you the scoop. We are one game deep into the NFL season. What did we learn last night?
Oh man, we learned that fumbles at the 3 are costly in a game that you're laying 9 in. We've seen that, at the crowd we were watching the game at. That was awesome. I don't know. It seemed like a pretty good game. Looks like over was the legitimate side there, and I think it for most books, and including ours, it falling inside of 9 and the Cowboys not winning was a pretty good decision on that alone. And anybody that had to triple the spread plus 22.5, that was just kind of a lock from the get. So, yeah.
Are we doing that again? Are we tripling spreads this week? We'll hold it to the end. Don't even let me know. We talked a little off air about the NFL market. We're going to get more into these eventually, but it is week 1. These markets have been up for ever. So I mean, these things are kind of beat into place at this point. Oh, Jesus. The betting gods are mad at me. Maybe for betting live betting is over 6-7 times yesterday. But yeah, the markets have been beat into place. It's like, I don't know if you have anything to say about the NFL markets as far as they stand. The money you've taken this week, and it doesn't look like much has moved. Maybe you expect some Sunday?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a little bit more popular. We just opened Arizona last night, 12:01 Thursday night, and it was an extreme success. It seems like it's going to be a pretty big market for us. We've seen a lot of handle in the Bucks Cowboys game, which was awesome, and we're seeing a lot on the other bigger college football games coming up on Saturday. So, as far as the handle on a lot of the NFL games, it seems like the markets are pretty steady. They're pretty sharpened up at this point. Some of the bigger liabilities or some of the bigger ticket counts are on teams like Carolina that I know of. People fading the Texans just because they have to, so they're laying into the Jags right now, Urban Meyer and all that stuff. And 49ers are getting a lot of love. Rams are getting a lot of love. So we'll see a lot of money pushing towards those teams, I think, come Sunday. But, it's really hard to move lines like that since they've already been bet into for, months on end.
And that's what's nice now that we're getting in a little deeper into the college season. Not everything is just summer lines and game of the year shit. Like, we do have a lot of lines. And we do have some games that we'll touch on. You had a bunch of these. We tried to have a production meeting last night at the Circa, and it just turned into a bunch of Heinekens. And I had to pull that table. I pulled you aside to a digital roulette table to try to get, and we said that's where we had a production meeting on the
You
third
didn't
floor.
say any words. We sat down. I was like, "So what's the deal?" You're like, "I'm just gonna put everything on 17 and 29 here," and I'm like, "Well, that's a good start. That works."
I made some money, and so I'll have you lead me through these. You wanted to talk. You did give me a list. Like, you had an iNotes list of some games, some interesting markets from this week. Pitt-Tennessee plus 356. Paint me a picture. Tell me a story.
Yeah, man, we've seen action immediately as soon as it opened. Looked like it opened pick in 56. Might have opened a little bit higher at some other spots. It opened pick 56. Right now, the market's at Pitt -3. Totals going up to 56.5. I mean, I think it's a pretty interesting game. Two of these teams coming off blowout wins against, the bottom 5 worst teams in the country. Pitt playing UMass and Bowling Green playing Tennessee. Just off those dominant performances alone, it's kind of hard to really gauge on where these teams are at. I think the bigger difference in a game like this is Joe Milton, Michigan transfer to Tennessee, had his first shot playing under Heupel's offense. And he played well for, I think, a couple quarters, and then he kind of got, super inaccurate late in that game and got pulled for Hendon Hooker. So I think that could be a big difference in the game, and, it kind of shows in the line with Pittsburgh being bet up from pick to -3 now. So, I would say that's kind of a bigger deal. And we've seen some respected groups also in Pittsburgh as well.
And especially for me, it's hard for me to gauge like how good Tennessee was. They didn't cover, but they did pretty much. They scored a shitload. It was a bad team, a bad matchup. That's why I have a hard time with like Pittsburgh and Iowa. We'll get to Iowa eventually too. It's hard to how we gauging those teams. So what do you need here? Did you bet this game?
Oh man, I mean, it seems like we've seen a lot of buyback at 3.5. If I could touch something like this personally.
All right, Carolina. Look at that. The storm is raging here. I don't know if you're still there, Mo. I just loading up. Are you getting the storm there too? It's like sunny. I don't understand why it's raining. This city, this is dumb. I don't understand how the weather works here. South Carolina, East Carolina, +2. Mo's gone. I'm carrying it. It's raining. Meet me at Blondie's at 4:30 tonight if you're around. Don't forget to join the Prize Picks contest. Not in Nevada, but you can definitely do the Petsperts contest. Mo's going to pop back here. He's just going and grabbing some notes about South Carolina, East Carolina.
My bad. It's only great that this was live and on camera, so I apologize.
You look like some of them Heinekens are trying to sneak back out of you today.
Oh, man.
You're at least sweating them out.
We're not going back to the Heinekens. Not till tonight, at least.
So, Carolina, double directional, +2, 56.5. What's the story?
Opened ECU -2. So, a little bit of flipping the line here with South Carolina being at -2 now. Total 56.5. Total open 60, so it's gone down a little bit. We've seen South Carolina, dominate Eastern Illinois, one of the lower FCS teams. So, it's hard to really take away from that. Zeb Nolan started at quarterback there, but they'll get their starter back, Luke Doughty, and running back Kevin Harris back for this game. I thought the bigger deal in a game like this was ECU's defense kind of getting, annihilated on the ground when they played App State, against Cam Peoples. He ran for maybe, over $150. In South Carolina's running game was like a big deal, coming into that Eastern Illinois game. They kind of ran him right off the field. So I would say South Carolina with Kevin Harris coming back is a big deal for them. ECU's offense is pretty solid. I think over seems like a big deal here, with the total moving up. But, just the line moving from ECU to 2 to South Carolina 2 is interesting enough for me.
Flip favorite there. Did you bet anything this week? Did you just take it easy?
I did. We'll go down the list.
We'll get to that. All right.
Yeah.
Let's get down to business. Cy-Hawk Trophy. This one again. This is Andy's dumb brain. It's like, oh my God, Iowa looks so good. Yeah, defensive touchdowns, whatever. But I was like, man, it's gonna be like a pick 'em, and apparently that's why I don't make college football power numbers, because definitely that's not what we open. That's not what we're moving. Where did you open this? I feel like I saw an Iowa State -3 somewhere. Right.
Yeah, I think but the consensus I think was around 3. We opened 3.5, 44.5. Now we're at 4.5, 46.5. Some market favors Iowa State a bit here. I think anyone that I've talked to, more of the sharper guys like Iowa State in this position, just your classic like blowout win at home for Iowa against Indiana. Like Penix was a bit banged up. And it showed like Indiana, had a rough time in that crowd there in Iowa, to play up to that standard, and ended up getting smoked on the road. It's weird, this is Iowa State kind of slipping through, playing a tougher Northern Iowa team that I don't know much people know about. It's Northern Iowa Super Bowl, and maybe Iowa State had some gamesmanship and played a little bit, maybe more of a vanilla offense. And, I think they'll have a different game plan for Iowa, this being a big game in Ames. Like you see the crowds in all these, college football games opposing from last year when there was nobody, and these places get ridiculously wild. So, Ames is going to be wild. It's going to be fun. I think there's going to be a big performance for Iowa State in a game like this.
I had this argument with somebody who went to school there. I like Iowa City better. Like as far as partying, the pedestrian mall. Like I don't know. Give me some hate there if you love Ames. Like Ames was cool. I had fun there, but Iowa City was way better. Although I'm still down with Iowa State. I can get with you there. Oh God, what's this? This is bad teams. Temple Akron +6, 52.5.
This might be my favorite game on the board. As far as the world opener is concerned, they opened. I seen Temple at 3, open 3. I think the total was 52, something like that. And immediately got bet up. Considering Temple's performance against Rutgers, it's tough to even figure out how they could be a 7-point favorite against anyone. Outside of UConn, I would assume, but Akron just was outclassed. We were somewhat high on Akron going into the season, and now they get an opponent they get to play at home that has a quarterback, in my opinion, that's not worth much to college football in itself, in DeJuan Mathis. I don't really get too crazy about quarterbacks being bad, but this one I'm pretty sure about. So I'd like to see Temple come in and prove me wrong in a game like this where they're a touchdown favorite. I think this game should be closer to 3, 2.5 in my opinion. So I'm big into Akron, scoring actually in a game like this, keeping it close, possibly winning the game.
Yeah, I'm not investing actual U.S. dollars in that, but I wish you the best of luck betting on this MAC team. God,
I think when we were out last night, I was giving people Akron, just walking around to random people. I was like, yeah, I like
we're
this.
handing it out to people.
And they were like, just get away from me. I don't want, I don't know who is this man, so.
Sir, you can't be behind the bar.
Please, please, somebody get this man. Get him out of my sight.
God, I'm gonna have to call security if there's another one of these games. Vandy, Colorado State. This is producer Dan's favorite game of the week.
I think I was at my Sunday. I seen this game because we looked at this game prior to this game even being played in week 2, but I was handicapping these games on Sunday and my AC went out. So I'm like in 95-degree heat, just like sweating, trying to figure out what's going on with the games. I can't focus, my brain, all that stuff. But I ended up getting to this game and I made a big deal about it on Twitter about it being like, why can someone bet on a game like this? And I think it was just because I had to make a number for it and it was brutal, whatever the case is. But, it opened pick, I think. I think it opened pick. Yeah, or -1. Consensus, it ended up getting to -5 before it got to 7 now. What can you say about Vanderbilt? New head coach, kind of just got ran off the field against East Tennessee State, a pretty decent FCS team, in my opinion. But them traveling in a game like this, even though when Colorado State got ran over by the Jackrabbits, which is fair. I think they're probably the best FCS team in the country, in my opinion. I think Colorado State was just outmatched at this point, but Vandy coming in, traveling to Colorado State. I don't know if they have like some type of game plan. They don't really. I'm not sure what Vandy wants to do on offense or defense or special teams. And a team like that has to travel to Colorado State, it's going to be rough for them to win a game like this. So, I don't really mind the line being 7. It's just like, how could you bet a game like this, period?
Are we going to have to put up FCS future odds next week?
Yo,
is that going to be a whole segment?
I haven't even adjusted.
Are they off?
Or
you just have them? You have them on a notepad. They're not available on the app yet.
I got them in my brain. Yeah, I think we have them in a couple states, but we haven't put them back up yet. But when those are out, we'll have like a 40-minute segment about them.
Yeah, I'm down with that, and I will be Jackrabbit. I'm kind of glad. God, who did you put people on last spring that didn't win?
Thanks for it didn't. That's good. Delaware. I think Delaware. That was
was it Blue Hens?
Yeah. Well, they ended up playing South Dakota State. They lost by like 100 points in like the quarterfinals, but that was I think James Madison was the one I had to actually win it all, and they blew a 20-point lead to Sam Houston, who won it.
Who did win it?
Oh, fucking disgusting.
Look at it. We have comments from Vegas Berserker. I think that's just Alan. You got to get him up. It's not like I give you a ton of stuff to do. Is this a late game? It's at Michigan. Never mind. Probably in the middle of the afternoon. I'll be down at Stadium Swim. You know your way around the circa.
I've seen Stadium
Swim once or twice
in my life. I've seen it once, I think.
Are we laying it with Harbaugh?
Oh man, I mean, this is probably the most over-adjusted line from like week one, in going into week two. I don't know. It's tough. I think Michigan's awesome. The Washington loss was pretty tough to Montana. I mean, talk about playing vanilla and then end up losing a game like that at home. Nothing against Montana. I think they're awesome, but it opened minus 451. We're right now at minus 6.5, minus 15, total 48.5. So it dropped a little bit. Um, this is a tough one. Considering the over adjustment, it's hard to really think about the value on Michigan itself. I think Cade McNamara looked awesome. I think the offense played pretty good, and Blake Corum might be one of the better running backs in the country from what I've seen. Even if it was just for one game, it seems like they're going to go to him a lot. We didn't get to see much from Washington. Obviously they played slow. They only scored 7 points. So I think we're 7 or 10. But just to see something like that, it's not like I'm throwing that game out. Washington might be a little bit undervalued here, but I really think Michigan might be like a really, really good team. I can't wait to see this, watch this back when Michigan loses. But from what I see, where the line is at right now, I think it's a, pretty legit line. Some people think it might be an over adjustment, but I think it's pretty correct considering how I feel about Michigan.
Yeah, I might have to start writing down which way you lean on all these. 'Cause you're not giving out like official plays, but you definitely lean which one way. It's not like, oh, this is what the book needs. It's like, this is what Mo needs to feel better about his opinions. I'm going to see if it's, it might just be I did okay or I did bad, and we're just going to have Lindy on next week instead. Just straight up.
Just get a shot at something.
Yeah, Mo quit. I don't know what happened to him. He's gone.
I'm waiting. He's going to run into the room here soon at some point, and he's going to take over. So I know that for a fact.
No, it's just, call to the bullpen. Get him in here. Last college game you want to talk about, Fayetteville, Texas, laying 7 on the road. Decent total. What, did you take some action on the Longhorns? This is the producer's alma mater.
I don't know. It hasn't been touched as much. I think we've taken more Texas money. Haven't really seen too much Arkansas come across the ticker yet. I'm assuming this is going to get a lot of action, going into Saturday. Open 6, total 58.5. Now Texas minus 7, total 56 here at WynnBET. Arkansas's performance against Rice was, just about as what I thought it was going to be. They ended up coming back. They were strong. They played pretty well and ended up winning there. But the Texas side of it with Sarkisian and Hudson Card, I thought it was probably one of the more impressive wins that wasn't really talked about against a Cajuns team. The line opened, I think 11-12, got ran all the way down to 7, and Texas ended up plowing them by about 20 points. So. Just kind of going into that, that's kind of what I was thinking about the Washington-Michigan deal, where Texas right now, new coach, kind of a new offensive scheme, might be a bit better than what the line says. So Arkansas is going to be absolutely wild out in Fayetteville. It's going to be a big home game for them. Probably one of the bigger games they've played in a while, especially against a Texas team that's coming in, playing pretty well. There hasn't been really much movement to make me think, what side I like more. I'm just going to wait and see how it ends up before kick.
We got a couple of requests for some write-in games. I don't know if you're hanging either of these, but NDSU hosting Valparaiso minus 46.5.
Yeah, the number I made was just about on. I had 46. So
you're not even joking. You made numbers for all these.
I think I had 46 or 47 or something like that. But not. Tough to really see Valpo doing much, against the Bison. If Valpo scores more than 10 points, I'd be surprised in a game like that.
Yeah. Missouri State versus the Sugar Bears, minus 5.5 at home.
Oh man, I think I had Missouri State 10. I think I had a little bit higher myself. The Sugar Bears.
The wrong side. That's what they call their women's teams because it's
incredible.
You can go look that up. It's wild.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, I think I had Missouri State a little bit higher there. Not really too much of an opinion on it. How I feel about Bobby Petrino. Anytime I see that Bobby Petrino picture of him in the neck brace, it makes me happier. Just because of that picture in itself. So that's really my analyst on that game.
Bring some joy. And then user, it's actually just Matt. He's sitting across the table from me, working on some work. He's a Notre Dame guy. 16.5. He's convinced himself to bet it. He might have already bet it. Just laid his team. Toledo. I don't know. The quarterback looked good the first game.
Yeah, Jay Cohen. I mean, it's funny. Like you look back at Wisconsin games. You know how quarterbacks play more of like a game manager-ish type of deal there. But you know they don't really get to throw as much. So you know they finally let him throw, and he was hitting some pretty great throws there towards the pylon in that Florida State game. He got bet down from 18 to 16 and a half. Which we kind of figured, we respected that for the most part. But right now, from what I've seen, it's probably like the biggest parlay game in Notre Dame's favor. A lot of parlays with Notre Dame on the spread there. Haven't seen much on the total, but I know Notre Dame will probably get a lot of money, going before kick.
How do you judge that when you see a team that ends up in a lot of parlays from a college standpoint? Do you just consider like the people that like the fans of that team are just a little less intelligent? Like they're just dumping it into parlays. Again, I'm just kind of pooping on Matt here. Okay, I don't even know if you're listening. I'm just making fun of Notre Dame fans. What does constitute what makes a bunch of public bettors dump a 17-point favorite in a parlay?
Oh man, well the name I
it's
think
just the game's
itself,
on.
Yeah, and anytime you see Notre Dame, playing, you're gonna just know like people are gonna be betting them just off like the prestige of the team in itself. They got to see him in a primetime game and played well, and there's not much from a booking standpoint you could do about it if your number's correct. You just kind of let them parlay it as much as they can or as much as they want, and then you just pray you don't lose in a position like that. If it's like the final leg of a parlay or a lot of favorites are going to get parlayed anyway, especially Notre Dame. So, we let it go until the result, and we'll figure it out from there.
I do like the move where you do a bunch of dogs. You make a few different parlays with a bunch of dogs that you think are super live, like straight up moneyline dogs, and then you put a heavy Monday night favorite, like in the last leg, and then if you get one of them through, you can sit there and lay like a 2-1 dog as a bit of a hedge, or lay the points, shoot for the middle. You get it, best of both worlds.
It's a classic strategy move.
I kind of just shit on parlay players. Now I kind of talked myself into one. I got a few college games I'm looking at. All right, anything else before you got to get back to work?
No,
How much longer you got to work? Are you coming to Blondie's? 4:30.
Yes, I have. I'm already.
You have to.
I'm dying here, man. I'm dying here.
Yeah.
No.
One more hour of work.
No. If anyone is watching, obviously, just download the WynnBET app. We're working on a lot of stuff right now, but there's a lot of promos going into it, a lot of fun stuff. If anybody can get, just into the app just to check it out, that'd be a big deal for us going forward.
What's the triple the spread? We forgot all about that. You got one this week?
We got them in respective states. And in Arizona, the new one that we have, it's the Cardinals game, Cardinals-Titans. So I think we bumped Cardinals up from +3 to +9.5, something like that.
I like it better when you triple the 7-point spread.
Yeah, of course.
It's easier.
I think the bigger one that we have in multiple states is Saints to +12.5. Yeah, against Packers. So that I think the Saints one will probably be the most popular one that we have at WynnBET.
All right, I'm down with that. Dogs are barking this weekend or something. And yeah, I'm getting flack from the Notre Dame crowd now. But Motoi, Pearson, WynnBET senior trader extraordinary. It was amazing when other people in the industry saw you last night. You could just tell there's a lot of respect. People were like, "Oh, look who's prowling the floor, his old stomping grounds." It was really something to behold. It's a pleasure talking to you always. Pleasure for you taking some time out of your day. And yeah, I got busy because it's Vegas, but I'll definitely put a tweet out next week. We get a few more games from some, so we don't have to work so hard and come up with games to talk about. We'll get some opinions from the peanut gallery out there on Twitter.
Yeah. No, that's great. Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. This is awesome. I love the show.
Well, yeah, you have to. You're on it.
Well, that's
perfect.
Yeah, I don't know why I said it. It was just that was odd. Yeah.
I know that's like the thing a guy says on like FM call-in sports radio. Yeah, I love the show. I'll take my answer off the air. I love you guys. Been listening for a while. All right, cool. Well, Mo, I'm gonna go take a shower, get ready to greet you tonight with some free drinks, and with that, we'll be back. We'll do this next week, and definitely next week have a bunch of NFL to talk about. As
no doubt,
that market is going to be shaping up here in about 24 to 36 hours.
Guaranteed. Yeah, we'll be on it.
No, most stuff.
All right, man.